everybody. Welcome back to the Beer Ladies podcast. I'm your host today. My name is Thandi, and with me, I've got my lovely friends Christina and Carolyn. And since we are in the month of February, and last week we did beer and chocolate, we thought we'd continue this idea of pairings for Valentine's month, let's say, but we've gone a little bit left field, and I think this is going to be very polarizing for our listenership. I think that people are either going to love this or they're going to hate this episode and never want to return. I hope it's the former and not the latter. But today we thought it might be fun to go through your horoscope, and we thought that we might put together some beer styles that we think match your zodiac sign. So I think it's going to be awesome. And why the hell not anyway, beer and horoscopes, why the hell not? Yeah, okay, well, we'll get going, but quick gentle reminder there, please, to if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share it with your friends, watch us on YouTube, listen to us on any podcast app. I promise you we're everywhere. And if you want, buy us a beer, buy us some coffee and search for the Beer Ladies podcast. We are there. Okay, ladies, friends, what are you drinking? Carolyn, you go first, friend.
I'm drinking a Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest Amber Marzen today.
Yummo. Yummo.
So.
And while we're there, tell us what star sign you are.
I am a Gemini.
Interesting. Okay. Christina, friend, what are you drinking and what star sign are you?
I made lemonade, homemade lemonade, because it's a school night and I'm tired. And it's delicious because I made it myself.
Yum.
So I made it exactly how I like it. But and I'm also a Gemini.
Woohoo! 2 Geminis in the room. So I'll tell you what I've got. And this I thought this was the best named beer for the star sign that I am. So I'm a Pisces. But I'm on the cusp of Aquarius and Pisces, so that could be an interesting one. But my beer is by Dead Center Brewing, and it's called Gentle Chaos. There we go. Ooh. And I'm just fighting with my blur on the YouTubes. So it's called Gentle Chaos, and it's a New England IPA, and it's got this lovely artwork of sort of almost watercolory, very swishy, watery movements, which made me think. Which made me think of my 2 fishes in my star sign, besides the fact that it's called Gentle Chaos, which I think is really cool. Okay. All right. So now listen, we're going to go through star signs kind of one by one, and we're going to have a little bit of a reminder of what they're said to be, so that you all know which one you belong to if you don't already know. Some main characteristics. Christina, you're going to lead us on that, and then we are going to just have fun. We're going to debate like what beer style should they be and why. Okay, so Christina, where do you want to kick us off?
Right. So I have a list of all the star signs, their dates, and some notes that I made from like researching online. So I'm just going to sum up like what I read, and then, feel free to tell me on Twitter how wrong I am about this. So Aries, which is March 21st through April 19th. Apparently, the interwebs has told me that Aries likes to be kind of front and center, the most important person. They are very competitive, very ambitious. They like a challenge, and they're first in line to go after that. And they want to be the winner of whatever competition that they're entering. So they're very, very like, they're there for it, and they're going to take it all home. That's, and they're fire sign.
Right.
So that's what I've read so far. So Carolyn, Thandi, I don't know if you have anything to add to the Aries.
No, but I'll tell you what popped in my head.
Okay, go on.
And
we
can debate it. I would say an IPA.
Yes.
Because everybody's like, oh, we could do a double hopped IPA. We could do a dry hop IPA. We can do this. We can do that. And everybody is obsessed with IPAs. And it's always front and center, I feel like, at any bar or brewery I go to. Yeah, That's just
Oh
my
my God,
opinion.
that's exactly what I thought.
Me too.
As soon as you were saying like the sort of assertiveness and needing to be in front,
Yes.
oh my God, I just thought IPA. And in fact, I thought like a double IPA, because you know, why not double dry hopped, double IPA, you know,
Yeah.
just like hop to the max. And one of those things where, you know, you're almost like not a brew if you don't drink double IPAs on the regular. Like that's what it reminded me of. That's so funny.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Like basically, like with the hops arms race and like how many hops I could definitely see like an Aries beer being like the winner of
Yeah.
the hops arms race.
Yeah.
Which I don't think there is one, but you know, if there could be, it would be an Aries,
Yeah.
right? Like so. Yeah, I completely agree. I think we've kind of nailed that one.
I think that was an easy one. And actually, because it was a fire sign, it also seemed like a little bit more aggro, which is awesome.
Right.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, what's our next one? Give us a challenge.
Taurus.
Ooh.
April 20th through May 20th. So I've read like a lot of different things about Taurus. My mom's a Taurus. So I've read that they're stubborn because their sign is the bull, so they can be quite stubborn, but also loyal, but they like to chill. Like they're kind of chill, loyal, stubborn people that will like fight for their friends. Like they're very loyal and good friends, but they're very stubborn. Like if they think something, like that's just that's it. That's how it is. Anyone else want to add?
Yeah, they're an earth sign, aren't they? So I always think of them as being very down to earth, very non-fussy, you know, kind of go with the flow, but not so go with the flow that they don't care. It's more like they're just very grounded, very chilled. I like the sort of okay, they're stubborn, but I like that sort of loyal, chilled, like, I don't know, earthy, grounded person. That sounds cool to me. So what kind of beer should we put with a Taurus?
I've actually thought about this one because, you know, of my mother. And so I thought maybe like a flagship beer, like a pale ale flagship beer, something that is always there. It's always really good. And there's like a loyal customer base and like you can trust it. Like, you know that it's going to always be a good beer, kind of like a Taurus is always going to be a good friend. Like a loyal good friend.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll go with that.
I went on a similar line, I think, but not the same conclusion. So I thought about like that consistency and you can always depend on this beer being the same. And for me, I went like straight to a Guinness. Like, you know what you're going to get.
A stout.
Yeah. No, but like not just a stout, like a commercially brewed stout.
Yeah.
And especially like a Guinness.
So yeah, like another flagship beer, but not a flag. Maybe we just say flagship beer, like a consistent flagship beer, because I think Turians kind of like somewhat what I'm reading, like they like soft sounds, soothing aromas, and succulent flavors is something that I've pulled up on. I think Yahoo News did something. I think it's from Yahoo News.
Succulent flavors, though. I mean, that's a line.
Soothing aromas. I'm not entirely sure what they mean by that. Yahoo News, so sorry about that. But yeah, I could probably just maybe like a flagship beer, something that you can trust.
Are Taurus like the Toyota of the Zodiac? Like they're there, they're dependable, they're always good.
I think that there's a little bit more to them than that, just because of the stubbornness. Like I know, like with my mom, like it's like, you know, I think one thing and she thinks something else, and it's like, okay. But they are an earth sign, so I like the idea of something that has like some earthy hops in there as well. Or herbal hops, so maybe like a stout with some herbal or earthy hops maybe in there. So kind of like a flagship beer with earthy hops is I think where I'm going. And
I like that. And I like the fact that it's probably whatever the brewery's like first big hit was, the one that they're never ever going to stop production of. You know, that sort of flagship. I think that's a good choice. Solid one. All right, who's next?
Gemini.
Okay, with the two Geminis in the room.
So that's May 21st through June 20th. And I'm also a Taurian Gemini cusp myself. But so Geminis, I feel like we get a bad rap. Like in the
we're a meme. Nobody talks good stuff about us.
Yeah, because we're supposed to be like if you take the negative perception of Geminis, like we're supposed to be like two-faced, like which people think means fake. But really, I think a more generous interpretation is that we have two sides. So like there's a serious sort of businessy, like work ethic side, and then there's like fun, playful, chaos personified kind of a side. Like we're really, I think we're meant to be like super like curious, very intelligent, which is negatively interpreted as like manipulative. I don't think that really fits for people. But it's all a bunch of fun anyway. So I think sort of like the Gemini is it's the twins. So it's like the two sides, like two different, a person with maybe two sides.
So my sister is also a Gemini, so good company here. And the thing that I remember about Geminis is that they're supposed to be very indecisive as well. And I guess that's these, the twins, like nobody can make a decision because the two like kind of battle each other. So I always remember that. And I mean, my sister really is the most indecisive person about nonsense, like big decisions, there's no issue, but holy crap. If
like,
it's like
food.
Yes.
Where do I want to eat?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly.
God, no, I never know.
Like, I don't know. Give me some options, or I'll throw out some. I don't know where I want to eat.
There we go.
But like that can also manifest. I think I read somewhere that it can manifest really because you can see both sides of an argument. So you tend to do really well when you're forming an argument, or like if you're a lawyer or if you're an academic or something like that, because you can see both sides of the argument, which can help you make your side stronger because you can see where the other side is, and then you can defend against those potential arguments. Maybe again, this is just a bit of fun, so it's really
Totally
not that deep, but like or maybe it is, for some people it really is, which is cool. It's whatever works best for you. But yeah, so I think it can kind of be both ways, like, but I'm definitely really indecisive about food, like about decisions that are not the end of the world, like not serious decisions. I'm incredibly indecisive.
Agreed.
There we go. Okay, we've got them to agree on one thing. Let's see if we can get a beer style. Okay, Carolyn, tell us what you think represents Gemini and why.
This is a hard one because there's so many different. I don't know. The first one that popped in my head is a sour, because a sour can be 500 different things as well. Like, I don't know. Like, you can, and there's also not great sours out there too. So I don't know. Like, a sour, it's, you can either make it good or you can not make it good. I mean, it can either be really good or bad. And like, I don't know. I feel like.
Do you want this to be sour because you love sours?
No, it's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But Christina, I wanted to hear what Christina had to say first before I said mine.
Okay, so I have thoughts on this, and I'm kind of like torn because part of me thinks like a Gemini beer is like a kitchen sink beer. So I had so for example, I had this like ice cream beer that was like strawberry and chocolate. There were oats in it, there was lactose, all kinds of like strawberry puree. I think it was Northern Monk. I had this like 2 years ago. And it was so good, but there were so many things in it, but it all ended up really like working really well together. So that kind of like being curious and all that kind of stuff, kind of, and indecisive, it's like put everything in here and then it ends up being something nice. But then equally, because of the two sides kind of thing, I was like black IPA, because it's IPA plus it's, the multi dark roasty stuff. So I was like, maybe I'm leaning more towards black IPA because it's the two sides.
That's exactly where I went. My head was straight into like, give me two opposite things and put them together. So black IPA or even dark lager, but I initially thought black IPA just because of the intensity of like roastedness and hoppiness or bitterness. Like I thought, oh yeah, that's got to be something like that. So yeah, that was where my head went, the sort of opposites attract model. Yeah.
What do you think, Carolyn?
Yeah, I'll go with it. Makes sense.
We don't have to agree.
Well, but then I was also reading somebody threw in did a little bit of research. Somebody threw in a triple for a Gemini, and I was like, that's interesting.
What was the reasoning behind a triple?
They can be unpredictable. in the best way. So that's why
Hmm.
they threw that out there. I don't know.
Interesting.
There's just somebody's opinion. I was like, that's an interesting one that I probably would have never thought of.
I would never have thought of that.
No, me
So,
neither.
yeah, I just throw that one out there as well.
Although, you know what, now if we're thinking about kind of opposites attracting and all the things, you know, like a sour stout would also do quite well, I think, as a Gemini beer. Man, there's
Or
lots of
like
like
one-
dualities here.
Yeah, or like one of those beers that's like lager yeast with like ale this or ale yeast with like a typical lager
like
style.
a steam beer.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of those as well.
Interesting. It's like, make up your mind. Do you want to be a lager or an ale?
Well, I mean, like, which, I mean, we can't even make up our minds about this beer, which in typical Gemini fashion, we haven't decided one beer for the Geminis. So I'm pretty confident that that's the answer. All of the beer.
All of the beers.
It's
There
all
we
of
go.
We are every single beer combined. Just as Christina said, just put every single beer in a kitchen sink. And
There we go.
that's us.
Get a straw and have at it. That's the Gemini beer.
Light it on fire, add a few marshmallows. You've got it. That's it.
Perfect.
I love it. Oh God, listen. Okay, come on, Geminis. Let's move on. What have we got next?
Cancer. So
Cancer.
June 21st through July 22nd. It looks like they're saying Cancer is like a combination of the sea and the shore because they're the crabs, so they're in the sea and the shore, so they can exist in two different areas. I guess both like emotional and material realms. I think that's what I'm reading. Yahoo. So it looks like they have a lot of psychic abilities is what I'm reading, and that they're kind of intuitive, but they're protective of themselves, you know, that like, you know, crab shell. So they will protect itself emotionally. So you're going to have to work to get to know them before they kind of open up to you. If they even open up to you, you're really going to have to work to gain the trust of a Cancer. Because they will protect themselves. They're very sort of defensive. I don't know. I'm
Interesting.
I'm not super familiar with a lot of these signs. So this is just what I'm reading. So again, if I'm wrong, please feel free to yell at me on Twitter. No, please don't yell at me.
No, don't. So the only thing I really know about Cancer is it's a water sign. So obviously the crab and water goes together, and all of the water signs are slightly more intuitive, emotional, sensitive, and that sort of thing. I guess what you're saying now about the crab, though, being guarded, is quite an interesting thing, and I wonder how we can translate that into a beer. Does it mean it's a complex beer?
Yeah, it might mean something that has a lot of layers. So like the initial part of the sip, you taste this, and in the middle you get something else, and then in the finish you get maybe something like surprising. So that way you kind of have to like drawn through all of this to really experience the beer, maybe something like that.
Interesting. I like that concept, actually, like the sort of how it changes depending on when you are in the experience. That's kind of cool. Or one of those styles that you don't love immediately, but you take time to really start enjoying. Like for me, that was an Imperial Stout. It was not a instant hit. It was like too much.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say a Cancer now is too much or too bold or too intense. But so maybe that's not quite the right one. But that's where my head went immediately, just because it was like I didn't love it immediately, but now I do, I guess.
Maybe if it's like sea and shore, it's like something like a Berliner Weiss, just because it has the salty flavors, and then it also has like the hops, so that's like salted sea and then a bit of the hops, and it's something that's can be a bit of a like, what is this? Okay. Oh, and then there's the salt, so you're kind of getting like the different flavors as you drink it.
Ooh, I like that.
Maybe.
Or a goza.
Yeah.
Something with like just different, like you get a different experience each time you drink it, I guess. like I don't know how else to describe, like not in a bad way, just like, oh, I didn't taste this last time. I don't know.
That's cool. I like that. I like this idea of sort of like the slightly spiced soury bit. So either a Berliner Weiss, a Goes, or like one of those, and something with a bit of salt, like, is always good.
Yeah, something that's a bit with salt, but then a lot of these styles that, you know, have salt now, which I think is a really like, I love that addition. I think salt really adds something to a beer. Or spice. I love like a jalapeno and like a Berliner Weiss.
Yeah, a little bit of like an unexpected pop. Like that. That seems like a nice Cancer-ish beer. Something a little unexpected in the end.
I'm already confusing a Berliner Weiss and it goes on my head. Sorry. I'm tired and I've already messed up the style. So please don't come after me.
No.
TJCP people.
Although I would be really interested if anybody is a Cancer of our followers to see what you guys think would be your style based on your style. That'd be really cool because I feel like we're getting somewhere, but I think it goes as now where we're landing.
I'll agree.
Okay.
But if anybody has any other beers that we did not think of, let us know.
Yes. I had entertained for a minute there, like doing a Belgian blonde or a Belgian, maybe a triple or maybe a double, not a double, maybe a triple or a blonde, but I like the goes better. That works. All right, what's after Cancer?
Leo. July 23rd through August 22nd. Leo likes to be like kind of like our Aries. They're passionate, loyal, but like from what I've read, they're supposed to be like super dramatic. Like like you know how like Leos are like with lions and so like the crown and so like, you know, just very here.
Yes, I know a couple Leos and they're definitely, I don't want to say want to be center of attention, but they're very, I don't want to say loud either, but they I mean they kind of want to be the center of attention. They're always cracking jokes, they're always being loud, trying to make people laugh. They're the
like the biggest people in the room.
Like
one of those like one of those. Okay, so like they're big personalities.
Like my dad and my uncle are both Leos, and when they get together, like you can't even get a word in edgewise. They're just laughing and talking, and
it's hysterical. My husband is a Leo, and he's like the total opposite of this. But you know, as we go.
Well, but it depends on, and I have noticed based off friends and what I've read, it depends on what month you were born in. Can also determine your personalities for your zodiac sign.
Oh, so July versus August of the Leo? Oh.
Because there's definitely meant to be a difference between like June Geminis and May Geminis and that kind of stuff. So it really, and it cusp also is supposed to impact. Like I'm a Taurian Gemini cusp, so I'm supposed to pick up some of the Taurian traits. Like stubbornness, if you know me. But so it does depend on your month, but then it also, it's like sun sign, moon sign, stars. There's I mean, I said it's not that deep earlier because if you really want to get into this, it's like you have to there's like all different things that impact it, not just, you know, I'm this. It's like you're this plus 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 this. There's all different kind of things, and like there are professionals who do all that kind of stuff. So like just this is just like the tip of the iceberg from what I read. Like there's really so many factors that impact. From what I've been researching. So
absolutely. Okay, so if you think of like the biggest character in the room or the most sort of over the top person you can, what kind of beer style would they be?
Oh, I'm thinking.
I have a thought.
Go for it.
Okay, so my thought is that Leos are those kind of throw everything at a beer and see what sticks. So if we're thinking the people who are doing like peanut butter, praline, chocolate, marshmallow, milkshake IPA, imperial sourwood, whatever, like, you know, those things that you don't even know where to look because there's so much going on and you have no idea how it's going to taste, and it's either hit or miss, you know, like they're bold, they're brave, they're very risky, but they either work or they don't.
The experimental beers.
Yes. Like the really over the top ones.
I can see that. I also like lean into like a pastry stout just because they're always like so they can be like they can be great, but they can be too much.
Mm.
And they can be not I'm not dissing Leos. Like,
No,
I'm
no,
sorry,
no, no,
Leos,
no,
like,
no.
I'm not having to go. But what I'm just saying is, like, you know, if you have a pastry stout, you have to wait till the end. Like, you want to finish with that because that will just take over everything.
Yeah.
Like, the pastry stout will dominate your palate and everything else around it. Because they can be too much, like, on their own, which is not what I'm saying about Leos. I'm not saying Leos are too much.
We can just say it.
I'm not going to say that. I know lots of lovely Leos. I just mean that, like, you know, it can be a very dominating kind of beer. So you want to have it towards the end because it is very much in the spotlight and very, like, it will take center stage. Like, you don't have a choice. It's here and it's taking that spotlight.
I like it. Yeah, it's also probably one of those beers because it is so big and so dominant, as you say. Like, you don't have it regularly. You know, you're having those once or twice a year because they're just, you know, they're not your everyday lager or, you know, everyday whatever. Yeah,
I will agree.
I like that. So a big old kind of, you know, experimental beer or a pastry stout, which I think that's a great call. Love it.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Again, I'm not having to go at Leos. No Leos come for me. I'm not having to go. So next is Virgo. I know so many Virgos. August 23rd through September 22nd. And Virgos are practical. They like rules. They're very, you know, logic focused people. They have, you know, ways that they approach things in life, and that's how it is. They're an earth sign. Oh, look, it's saying that they are represented by the goddess of wheat and agriculture.
Cool.
But what goddess of wheat and agriculture in what culture?
One?
Which it doesn't say that. Okay. So a goddess of wheat and agriculture. Yeah, and they're meant to be perfectionists.
Okay.
That's the thing I know about Virgos is the perfectionism and the sort of attention to detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And they like they work. Like, they'll work with, like, skills, and, like, they'll just keep working until they get whatever it is that they want. They'll just keep working away at it. I know a lot of Virgos.
Me too. Yeah.
I'm married to a Virgo.
Interesting. So how well does this resonate with your Virgo husband?
Yeah, pretty dead on. Like, very driven, very like, yeah, very, very driven, very, you know, he will work to do anything. I'm very proud of him. Great person.
I like the methodical nature that comes with, I guess, being a Virgo, you know, because I admire people that are structured in their thinking and in their practice of something, because I'm completely the opposite. Like, I really do admire that in people. So I feel like brewing is one of the really good hobbies or activities that somebody who is meticulous and methodical could really thrive in. So, I don't know, I think it's a great fit. So yeah, I know lots of Virgos as well. My dad's a Virgo. His perfectionism drives me mad, but, you know, as one does. Okay, so Carolyn, what are you thinking now in terms of a beer for a Virgo?
I don't know. A lager popped in my head because I feel like, I don't know, every time I've gotten a lager, not they've all tasted the same, but, like, you know what you're gonna get with a lager. They don't really stray off a path like other types of beers do. That's just my opinion. Y'all can disagree with me, but
I'm actually going to agree with you, but for different reasons. And the reason I would say a lager is because if a Virgo is very diligent and they're, like, much of a perfectionist, you cannot hide anything in a lager. Which means in order to brew it, you have to be a really good brewer. I think a lot of people make the mistake because it's easy to drink a lager, that it's easy to brew a lager, and it's not. And so when I think of a lager, I think of a really, like, if it's a good lager, I think of an excellent brewer who's really, really, because brewing is a science, been consistent and worked hard to be able to make that. So I kind of think maybe just a really clean, excellent lager.
Couldn't agree more. The first thing that popped in my head was a Pilsner, just because, and it's in the lager family anyway.
Right.
But
Yeah.
because of that, yeah, you can't hide anything from it. You know what you're getting. It can be brewed amazingly. And you know, as Christina said there, like, you have to be a really skilled brewer to brew an excellent Pilsner, or lager. But yeah, fabulous.
Yeah.
I think that was, gosh, that was the one, I think, with the least argument, gang.
Yeah, so we'll say Pilsner and lager.
Yeah.
That's our,
Yeah, that's the lager
because I
family.
was thinking Pilsner as well. Like I was thinking, but I decided to go with lager. So there you go.
Such a great call. No, I like how we got there for slightly different reasons, but we got to the same conclusion. That's awesome. Very, very cool. All right, what have we got next, since that one was easy?
Libra.
September
23rd through October 22nd. So the Libra is about balance and justice. So they're the scales. So it's definitely kind of a balancing act. I think, they're an air sign. So people say air signs and fire signs and earth signs, and I'm really not entirely sure what that means entirely. Besides that's what they're associated with, but Libra is an air sign. And because of the scales, they're apparently like keen on symmetry and equilibrium in their lives and other people, especially when it comes to like maybe romantic things. And again, this is just what I found randomly on the internet on like Yahoo News, I think, or
good old Yahoo News.
Yeah, like kind of variety.
I can't believe that Yahoo is still going, to be honest. Okay, but that's kind of interesting. Are these the sort of people that will have the right kind of balance between work and play? You know, are they the people that can moderate their eating and drinking because they know what's good for them? You know, is that sort of balance that we're talking about? I don't know. I don't think I know that many Libras, if I think about it.
Yeah, well,
maybe.
I mean, I know two. But
one of my closest friends is a Libra. And she's just really chill.
So there we go. Although I can tell you now, you know, from the elements, right? So there's 4 elements in the zodiac. So it's water, fire, earth, and air. So supposedly it goes like this. Air feeds fire. So air, I think, and fire go really well together compatibly, because I think air can like balance the fieriness, I guess, of fire, and it feeds it in the right way. Whereas water will put fire out, you know, like it'll be opposites. Okay. Water and earth go really well because water nurtures earth, and earth needs water to grow. You know, it's one of those things. Whereas air and water like don't ever see each other because they just never touch. And fire and earth, fire burns earth. So fire and earth wouldn't be compatible. So if we think about it that way, so if we've got fiery people, earthy people, watery people, and airy people, like I don't always know what that means, but I guess it could tell us a little bit about how they would interact with other signs. So if they're the ones that might stoke the fire, or at least nurture the fire for it to grow, they're definitely not the people choosing the limelight. They're definitely not the people, they're potentially not wallflowers either, but probably just they're very comfortable and secure in themselves, and you know, they're chilled, probably.
Yeah, like I would say with my experience with my friend, she's not a wallflower. But she brings like that sense of like chillness and balance, I guess, to everything around her. Like she's just a very reasonable person, I would say. Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know. I guess I'm thinking like something that is like equally balanced with hops and malt.
I was thinking American amber ale, like one amber ale straight away. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my initial thought. Just because, like, I think it has to be really well balanced. It shouldn't be too bitter, too hoppy, and it shouldn't be too malty, too sweet.
Right.
Yep. I completely agree. I'm here for that.
Agree.
Yeah, I like that one. Let's move on.
So the next sign is Scorpio, October 23rd through November 21st. And I just want to say that I feel like Scorpio, much like Gemini, gets a really bad reputation. for being like the villain of the horoscope, and I don't think that's very well earned. Like I know a lot of lovely Scorpios. Scorpios and Geminis aren't supposed to get along, actually, if I remember correctly. But my dad's a Scorpio, and he's one of my favorite people. So, but that might just be because they're misunderstood. Maybe we get along because they're misunderstood and we're misunderstood. So maybe in that,
or because you're indecisive. So on any day that can get you at the right time.
But so Scorpio is a water sign. They're supposed to be, I guess, a little mysterious, courageous, but I think they have a reputation for being like fiery and argumentative, and I think what can be seen as passionate, some people interpret like that in a negative way. Yeah, so that's what I know about Scorpios. What do you know about Scorpios, Carolyn?
Not a lot. I don't know too many Scorpios. Or I may know Scorpios and I just don't realize what their sign is.
I always remembered Scorpios for being like quite secretive and mysterious, but passionate, like crazy passionate.
Yeah.
As in they'd probably be on a bad day, they'd be too much for you. Like, get the fuck out of my space. You're too enthusiastic about this thing or whatever. Always has an air of danger and mystery, Google tells me, and they have great self-control. That seems like those two are opposite statements. So
yeah. Great self-control, but dangerous.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so we've got something maybe like a misunderstood villain, or a person that gets the blame for stuff a lot, a person that's probably just passionate and just misunderstood. Maybe that's what we're looking at. So what kind of a beer fits that?
Misunderstood beer. Ooh, what's a beer that a lot of people think is one thing but isn't, or dismiss? What is a beer style that a lot of people dismiss? I would have said lager up until a couple of years ago. I would have said that a lot of people just go, it's boring, I'm not interested. But now lagers are seeing sort of a renaissance, if you will. So maybe not anymore.
Do you know what I almost want to say? A brown ale.
I was thinking brown ale or like red ale, like something that like not a lot of people choose, or like not a lot of breweries or companies have. Like there's not a lot of brown or red ales.
I like a brown ale because that kind of gets like sort of like that darkness. Like I like a bit of that like body to it. Just there's something there. In a brown ale, there's
like really great beers, and can be very complex and can be very like intense and delicious, but often I feel like they're very looked over. That's maybe it,
yeah
like it.
Happy with that?
Yeah, let's do it. Happy with that.
So next we have Sagittarius, November 22nd through December 21st, and two of my favorite people on earth are Sagittariuses, so I love the sign. They are just fun. They like to learn. They, traveling is their thing. They want to go to everything. They're a bit like Geminis because they like different activities and they want to pursue these different activities. Very smart people. I like Sagittariuses in my experience.
I've got I know a lot of Sagittarians as well. My mom is one of them, and some of the things that I get from what I know about Sagittarians is very, very fun to be around. So often the kind of the center of a party, or the life of the party, but also very impulsive, can be quite irresponsible, but very much like freedom loving and just want to do stuff and have fun and like really, I don't know, maybe it's just because December is a bit of a party month in some countries anyway. Something like that. But I've also remember now, smart, inquisitive, that sort of person. Sounds like a fun person, actually.
Yeah, like my aunt is a Sagittarius and one of my best friends is a Sagittarius, and they're both like very love to travel, very inquisitive, but also very like responsible people. So it might be a month thing, like if you're a December Sagittarius versus November Sagittarius, that might be one of those things. It also might be because they're older, they've learned to be responsible. But yeah.
Maturity.
But then again, I'm older and I'm still, you know, Captain Chaos over here with my Gemini self. So who knows? But yeah. My inclination for a Sagittarius is a beer that has ingredients from different places in the world.
What about like a farmhouse ale or something?
I was thinking a wild fermented, like a wild fermented beer.
Yeah. Farmhouse fermented ale.
Yeah.
I could do that. Or like I was thinking about something that's like hops from, you know, like New World hops, and then like German malt, and then like something from somewhere else. Something that's like a bunch of different places, like physical, geographical locations because of their love of travel.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was thinking for farmhouse ale because like people will put them in like wine barrels and add grapes and make it a little bit different.
And like if they're, you know, putting it from here, that could have been from this wine from this region of this place that's now here. That's now, I take a farmhouse also because of the wild aspect.
Like the wild.
I feel like they're very earthy, like just because they grab different, I don't want to say ingredients, but grab different ingredients. That's the word.
Well, and I mean, Sagittarius is a fire sign, so you know, I guess we could do like that. Kind of works with the whole wild concept of the wild. A fire is definitely like the epitome of wild.
Definitely. I like that one. Works. I think like a spontaneous fermentation or a wild, you know, a wild beer of some kind, and the more exotic ingredients, the better.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm here for that. Kind of like the Gemini kitchen sink beer.
Yes. Yes. I like it. All right. Who's next?
Capricorn. December 21st through January 20th. So Capricorns, it says, thank you, Yahoo. It says that the most valuable resource for a Capricorn is time. So they're very patient and they're very dedicated. So they will work at something and persevere until they get their goal. So the Capricorn is a sea goat, which is a creature that is like the body of a goat with the tail of a fish.
I love goats.
And they're good at, because you have again like the crab, Cancer. So you have the two different realms again. So they're navigating both of those spaces again, material and emotional. So with the sea and the shore. So again, sort of a duality.
There's a lot of duality in the Zodiac, though, isn't there? Hey?
I didn't realize that until I'm like reading this, and I'm like, wow, you know, they always like give Gemini's grief about, oh, you know, you guys are the twins and you're so different. And I'm like, well, like I'm reading this and there's at least two other signs that are talking about like duality. So I don't know what everyone is on about Gemini being two different people.
I mean, have you met the Pisces fish? They're swimming in different directions. Go figure.
Feels like, you know, more anti-Gemini propaganda. So
nice.
I'm with Christina on that.
So the only thing I think I know about Capricorns is that they're supposed to be quite practical, quite organized, you know, like quite goal orientated, ambitious, you know, like worker bee types, I guess, but a little bit, you know, more than that, I guess, because they'll be ambitious and probably strong leaders, you know. They don't seem to get caught up in nonsense or things that are irrelevant.
I mean, I guess, and they're a little bit traditional, like not in a bad way, but just.
Oh yeah, okay, interesting. That I like that spin actually for what we could put a beer on, because you know I was thinking about something that was taking time, like in
Right.
working at something over time. And I was thinking of something with Brett, because Brett takes a really long time to
Right.
mature a beer, and you can't rush that shit. Like, you just can't. But I think it's too complex for a Capricorn at this point. Like, I don't think it's that sort of vibe. I think it's something else.
I'm leaning towards like real ale, cask.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Because of the time, patience, perseverance, like finding cask ale, especially in Ireland, is hard. A bit of a duality there, because if you get it on cask, it'd be a bit different than if you get it on tap. Earth sign. What did one of you say something about traditional?
Yeah.
So that's what kind of like
Yes.
piqued me with like the real ale,
Oh, I like
especially on
that.
Yeah.
cask. So I'm thinking like a cask real ale for Capricorn.
That's really cool.
That's what I was thinking, like something that took a while and is
Mm.
traditional.
Yes, I like that. And I like the fact that with cask ales, like you have to know when to serve them. You know, it's not something that you can put on because it's fermented. Like there is a very specific window between when it like had yeast put on, and then it's, you know, fermenting, and then it's in the cask, and then it's can be, you know, poured or pulled. So like it is quite meticulous and quite organized and structured, which is awesome. But it's also a little bit left to intuition and pub owners and things know that stuff. That's cool. I like that one. I think that's really, really cool. Okay, love it. We all agreed. Look at that.
So
Where
next
are we now?
is Aquarius, which is
Hmm.
January 21st through February 18th. And it's an air sign. So I guess like don't be fooled by the aqua in Aquarius.
Yeah, and it's a
So-
water bearer, even though it's an air sign.
Yeah. So again, with the duality, I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
honestly.
Love it.
So the water bearer, I guess, is a mystical healer who bestow the water, like represents life, I guess, to the people, to Earth. Like, what does this say? So they're progressive, and I guess like they're supposed to be like really like forward thinking, and they come up with like really great new ideas and absolutely outside the box. And if there's a problem, they're there to solve it, like with something like just so interesting and so unique. And they're also supposed to be the most humanitarian sign, I guess. So they really want to make the world a better place. So Aquariuses are, I guess, are out there just help dragging the rest of us along, trying to, you know, save the world.
Okay.
Which is really great. So
That's
what
cool.
kind of beer what kind of beer do they deserve, you know, for trying to make the world a better place, you know?
But also because they're like creative and they're clever, like, you know, what do you get for being, you know, good-natured, like well-wishing, clever, creative? Like, what do you get with that?
A sour. Because like every sour I've had, it's different. There's a different fruit, or they pair it with something different, or that's just my thinking.
I have an idea.
Mm.
What about that beer that they make for International Women's Brew Day, that they brew in different breweries all around the world?
Yeah. But it's not one style.
Don't they have a consistent recipe that they send out to other people?
No, they often have a theme, and then what you can do is you brew something like related to the theme, but it's not one recipe.
But even if it's brewed, even if it's just the theme, I think that will still work because you've got your humanitarian aspect there, and then you've got sort of an idea.
And the creativity there.
Yeah, because then you put your own spin on it. So I mean, like, I don't need it to be the same recipe, but like the idea. Sorry, what I meant is like the idea. Like, there's a consistent idea of something,
that's cool.
and then everybody kind of makes their own spin on the idea of it, and I think that kind of works for Aquarius.
Yeah, that does seem to work, actually. And I mean, for those who don't know, so for International Women's Day in March, breweries around the world if they're not women owned, they often have women taking over, and people get together, brew a beer, and then like a month later, when it's ready, have a party to drink the beer on that day. Some people actually brew it a month before Women's Day and drink it on that day, as opposed to brewing it on that day. But either which way, it's a really cool thing. And there is a theme every year. This year's theme is Unite Celebration. So it seems like a bit of like a weird hashtag, but you could see how it might translate into a beer, either by bringing people together or to celebrate the fact that people can be together after, you know, the first time in 2 years. Like there's a lot to celebrate, and there's a lot in being united. But I really like that idea, actually. So whatever like a themed beer, and especially for a good cause, you know, the creativity and the planning that can go around it, sounds like a very Capricorn thing, doesn't it? Aquarius. That's what I meant. Obviously. Shows how much I know. Oh, Jesus. All right, listen.
No, it's okay. It's okay, because I thought I was using a Yahoo News article, and it's actually from Allure. So I'm sorry, my article from Allure. It's not, well, I did partly use Yahoo News as well.
Okay.
But most of this stuff is from Allure, and I will link the article that I'm getting my information for in the show notes for anyone if they're interested in doing a specific deep dive with each of these things. So next is Pisces.
Yes.
So February 19th through March 20th.
That's my sign.
So Thandi, tell us about Pisces.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I'll tell you what the stereotypes of Pisces are, and you can tell me whether that matches your Allure article. So the stereotypes of Pisces are that we're super emotional, very artistic, very creative. We feel everything very deeply. We're probably the people that will have too many pets because we won't be able to say no. We can be very irresponsible with things like money and health, because we can be impulsive and just want to do things the way we want to do them. These are all true. And let me think. Yeah, sensitive, creative, artistic, emotional. Those are the things that I remember. It kind of annoys me because I also think I'm quite a logical person.
Well, according to Allure, which has been our guide the whole time, not Yahoo News, way to go, Tina, is exactly like what you said. So sensitive, but also psychic. Like they're meant to be like really like empathetic people, but also like just, I guess, meant to have psychic abilities. And they're very aware of like people's feelings around them. So yeah, and then like again, the duality, like you mentioned before, like the fish are swimming in opposite directions, and this Allure article talks about the division. I can actually quote, it says, representing the constant division of Pisces' attention between fantasy and reality. And that's a quote. That's a quote from the article. But yeah, so I guess again, duality.
You see, the thing that always struck me about Pisces and the fish, because the fish are swimming in opposite directions, but they're connected. So it always seemed to me like there is tension with something. You know, it can work really well, but you're either too much of this or too much of that, and the tension is a thing. It also, I mean, as a kid, I grew up with all star signs and stuff, but as a kid, everyone was like, oh, you're so in touch with yourself, and you know all this sort of empathy and sympathy stuff. And I think that's true, and maybe people are very self-aware, but I don't think it needs to mean soft or weak. I think it actually is a strength to be self-aware and to be empathetic. Yeah.
I would definitely say it's a strength, because you have to know yourself before you can really like decide who you are and what you stand for, right? So like being sensitive and like understanding yourself, I think, is really an important first step to establishing what you will and will not accept from other people or from your own self-talk with yourself. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I also think the idea of like fantasy and reality is interesting. With respect to like, you can have your head in your dreams, and then you can turn those into reality. So you're a dreamer maybe as well. Like you're taking these things. That's my experience with Pisces, that they're very creative people.
Well, I guess my experience with Pisces is based on month too. Like, because I have 3 people in my family and they're all the same. They're very secretive. They tell you stuff when you need to know it. No, but then
God, that's so funny, because that's what that's what I get told all the time. Like, Thandi, you're a shocking communicator.
Well, no, but then I have a like somebody in February is more sensitive. Like, I don't know. And maybe it's the difference between male and female. Like, all these people that I know that are born in March are male, and the people that I know that are born in February females. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but that's just my experience based off. Yeah.
There we go.
So,
like
Thandi, what are we picking for, or what are you picking?
Oh my God. So, I mean, I think it's kind of similar to Gemini, where in a way you want something that seemingly is opposite, or that seems in tension but isn't. But I think it needs to be something, I don't know, creative or artistic, or something that reflects that. So I'm not sure yet.
What is a style of beer that brewers like to play with a lot?
I want to say IPAs are probably the ones that people play with. And I was thinking,
I was gonna say that too.
Yeah. I was thinking that because there's been a lot of experimentation with IPAs, you know, whether it's like a New England, you know, like a juicy IPA, or whether it's a milkshake IPA, or a brown IPA, or a red IPA, or a black IPA. Yeah.
West Coast versus East Coast IPAs. There's your fantasy versus like what is actually happening in the real world kind of a situation. I'm not going to say which is which, because that's just going to be mean and everyone's going to come for me. But yeah.
So maybe. And
you and Aries. Although Aries is like a double one trying to win the hops arms race, whereas you're sort of bridging the gap between like the two directions. So you could be like some kind of West Coast, East Coast hybrid beer.
Yeah.
Listen, you laugh, but on the episode that will have just aired last week, Joanne was drinking a West Coast, East Coast IPA hybrid, and I was like, what the F kind of a beer is that?
That's
like,
you.
And she was like, yeah, but okay. It was like, you know, obviously a hop bitterness that you'd expect from West Coast, hop juiciness that you'd expect from East Coast, and then think about the different like flavors that you might get, and then it's all of it, but it works. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That sounds fun. There we go. I like it.
I like it. I'm happy. And that's the Zodiac, friends.
That's the Zodiac, friends. I mean, my goodness. If anybody has or wants to weigh in, you know, on our opinions here, you know, bearing in mind that this was a fun excuse for us to drink beer together, you know, besides anything else. And it was a fun way for us to pair something else in February that was maybe a little unexpected. So if anybody has better ideas, come at us on Twitter, not at us, but, you know, talk to us nicely, and we'll consider having a debate.
And if you disagree with what the article said about your thing, don't come for me. I'm just reading what the Allure article said. I'm not super familiar with the signs, unless like they're my family or myself. But but I'll link that, so then you can argue about that with them.
Awesome. And Carolyn actually found 3 or 4 different articles of people who have also written about this. So people who have paired beers with zodiac signs, which I think is really fun. So,
and they're very different opinions.
Excellent. So, even better. So, you know,
very different.
Which way you think. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's it, friends. Thanks for having opinions on the zodiac and on the star signs. And we will see you all next week. Don't forget to please like, share, subscribe, buy us a beer, all the things. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.